Howdy everyone, it's Sam. Welcome back to the Wobble Enjoy Sports channel. If you're new around here, hope I can get you to consider to like the content and subscribe to the channel. But if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. The penultimate week of NFL 2023 is upon us, and to help me preview the weekend and the match that pits his team versus my team this weekend is Steelers Nation Australia. His name is actually Mark. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, mate. It was so short notice, such short notice, but thank you very much for your time, man. Merry Christmas to you as well, and happy birthday to you for the other day as well.
Yeah, thanks, man. I had me birthday on the 24th of December, so which I saw, by the way. I saw the Steelers beat the Bengals, which was fantastic. 34-11, Mason Rudolph, our new savior, which is crazy because 2 years ago everyone hated Mason Rudolph. Now they love him. So it is what it is. But yeah, man, Merry Christmas. I'm pretty keen to be on the show, bro. I'm actually just keen to be a guest. It's fun to be like just chill out and talk football. I'm just keen for it all.
Yeah, you've been working really hard, man. And please, if you're not familiar with Steelers Nation Australia, follow the link below at the conclusion of this live stream. If you're after a different take on the world of NFL, particularly if you're a Steelers fan, go and check out his content. He's killing it at the moment. Just quickly to give an insight to those who may not know you, man, how did you become a Steelers fan, mate?
Pretty much like my story in a big nutshell was around when I was a teenager, around the 2000s, when we had the movies like, The Replacements, what's the other one? The Little Giants, like back in the day. And there's a few other ones. Remember the Titans? Those kind of movies were out. And I was like, The Water Boy, and I was like, dude, something's up here. Like they had all these good movies around 2000s. I started playing Madden when I was a kid too, from Madden 96 to Madden 2004. By the way, that still to me is still one of the best Maddens, 2004, 2005, when EA actually gave, they cared. EA cared. Now EA's like, loot box, this, that, whatever. It's like, dude, we just want franchise. That's all we want. So I played all those games back then, and I started watching. I was like, all right, I got to choose a team. And I based the Steelers purely off the colors alone, which is black and gold, but I thought it was black and yellow, but it is black and gold. That's what we call it here. Or everyone calls it in Pittsburgh because it's based off like the cities and their family crest and the city's crest. But basically, it was the colors. I was like, I had no idea who they were. And then it was around the time, actually, this channel would have been huge. If we did this in 2010, what was it, 2007?
Oh, do you have to remind me? Do you have to? I thought we could go through it without mentioning it, but you had to do it, didn't you?
I had to. Because that's when I started watching them, man. I saw Randall to Hines Ward. I saw Big Ben. We won that game, and Big Ben was really bad in that game, but our defense won it. So look, that's when I started watching. That was Super Bowl 40, and that's like 18 years ago.
Yep. We're a couple of old buggers then, aren't we?
We are.
Yes, yeah. It was 2006. I can't believe how quickly you had to put that in, bro.
I had to.
Damn it. Damn it.
Well, you know what? It shows how far we've kind of come from those days when you guys had the Super Bowl versus, what was the one versus Denver? The one was really good. Mm-hmm. When you beat Denver, was like you nailed them, absolutely nailed them, right? 43 to something. Yes. Okay, I won't say my next point then. I won't say the next point. You already know the other one.
So 2 out of 1 or one of 2 anyway, man. You bloody bugger.
Should have ran it.
Oh, dude. Yeah. All right. So let's get stuck straight into it, right? And we're not going to do this one chronologically. We're going to get stuck straight into it, man. This weekend on the Monday, Australian Eastern Standard Time, Seahawks versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, mate. And on Sportsbet, let me find it first. On Sportsbet, it is, let me scroll, it is the Seahawks who are $1.56 favorites. The Steelers are $2.44. I've got to admit, that's not bad value on the Steelers. And I thought it might actually even be a little closer than that. And the line is set at 3.5, man. And just to go into a little bit of history between the two franchises, this will be the 21st meeting between the two. And the series is tied at 10 apiece. These two sides have not played each other since 2021. The past 2 games between these two franchises have been decided by 3 points or less. This is the first trip to Seattle for the Steelers since 2015. But the biggest stat that comes into it, man, and maybe you already know it, is that Steelers have not won in Seattle since 1983.
Really? That's
Yes,
terrible.
mate. That's
Wow.
huge, man. So it's a stat that goes very much in our favor. Recent history is by and large 50-50. And I think this game, I think Sportsbet is being very generous to the Steelers, or whatever way you want to look at it, man, because I genuinely think this game is a 50-50 prospect, and they sort of mirror each other, Seattle and Pittsburgh, in a way. Yeah, go ahead, man. What do you think about this
We're the
matchup?
same, because we're the same. We're 8-7. Who's your quarterback now? That's I want to start there first. Who's your quarterback at the moment?
It will be Geno Smith this weekend.
Okay. So you had Drew Lock last weekend, the week before?
Against Philadelphia. Geno came back, and I thought Geno was rusty, sort of. I thought it took him a couple of quarters to really get going. But when he did, he and Lockett locked up perfectly in that game once things got going. But yeah, Geno Smith will be our quarterback this weekend.
You guys had, how has your season been so far? Because we've been up and down like a roller coaster, but I feel like the Seahawks last year won a pretty good ticket, weren't they?
We were very good last year, man. This season we went four losses in a row, then defeated Philadelphia, and on a short week traveled to Tennessee and just pipped the Titans. And I do think the boys looked fairly tired in that matchup. But like you, it's been a roller coaster for this Seattle Seahawks, man. And just on the injury front, Jamal Adams is a 50-50 prospect of playing in this game. Possibly the defensive rookie of the year, Devon Witherspoon. He suffered, I think, a hip flexor injury. He is still under a cloud. Expect him to play, but it seems like Jordan Brooks, who plays on defense, will be missing from this game as well. So offensively, Seattle seem pretty well. Defensively, we've taken a bit of a hit over the past 2 weeks or so. So that may be the area of weakness that your boys may look to exploit this weekend.
How was your fan base during the 4? I didn't even know the 4 losing stretch, because that was recent, right? How were they then? Was everyone giving up at that time?
Before the 4-game losing stretch, I'd say that I would say more than less that the fan base wanted Geno Smith not to be as the quarterback from 2025 onwards, and to give the likes of a Drew Lock a crack, to be honest. That's the feeling that I get, and from reading everything Seattle Seahawks news related, that Geno Smith, a lot of people were flat on him. And to be honest, there's been definitely a couple of games where I've gone, is he really the future for us? But Pete Carroll, man, I mean, I keep, like, over the past 2 years in particularly, people doubt the genius of Pete Carroll. And while we've copped a couple more losses more than what we have, say, 4 years ago, Pete Carroll, man, he's still got a little bit of that magic. He brings that positivity to Seattle Seahawks, bro. And Drew Lock and Geno Smith, man, even though by themselves, sometimes they're very much like a roller coaster, it just seems like they're working nicely together. And we've got 2 above average quarterbacks. But again, I think maybe in 3 years' time, we really got to go into the market for a blockbuster primetime quarterback, if that makes sense.
When did you guys move on from Russell Wilson? Because the way he's playing out in Denver, I think you guys might have won that trade, to be honest.
Oh, we've definitely won the trade. Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos aren't in a better playoff picture than what we are still at the moment. In particularly last year, Denver Broncos had one of the most disastrous seasons of all time, just about. So Russell Wilson, for me, as a diehard, I saw that Russell Wilson, that those signs were in his game a year prior to him being carted out, maybe 2 seasons before. So I would still say we've definitely won the trade. We definitely won that.
that give compliments to, because Pete Carroll, he's been there a long time, right? He's been 10 years, maybe more for your coaching. You know what I mean? You're built off the days of the Legion of Boom. You've had the great days with Wilson. Like I said, that Super Bowl versus Denver where Peyton Manning got smashed, couldn't throw anything. I think it was versus those guys, 43 something. So I think that people might have thought that Seahawks might have been a down team after that. But that's why I liked last year, because this year I think we're kind of very similar, you and I. Like, we got to win 2 in a row to get a chance to be, or actually, I think, are you guys in the playoffs now? I think you might be.
We are currently in the 7th spot. Are you in the 6th or 7th seed at the moment? Or just outside?
We're the 8th. We need the Colts and Houston to lose. So we need a few things to happen. We had a chance. We should have beaten the Cardinals, should have beaten the Pats, but football's football. And we lost those games. We lost 3 in a row now. We got back. People were chanting for Rudolph to play, but if we don't win this game, we're pretty much toast. We're not eliminated by mathematical wise, but we're pretty much done, because we've got to win 2 in a row, because our division's just too difficult. Everyone's on 8 wins. Everyone's on 8 and 7 is our lowest. Like, because the Ravens are killing it, Browns are killing it too. So everyone's going crazy. Yeah.
So your Steelers, mate, coming into this weekend, you had 2 losses in a row against teams that you were fancied to defeat, as you said before, and then you completely ambushed the Cincinnati Bengals, man, on Christmas Eve. I watched every single second of that game, mate, and that was easily the best game of the season if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, man. What do you make of their chances coming into this weekend?
I think we're 50. I think we're 50-50, to be honest. I don't think we're a good team. I don't think, offensively speaking, we can't score points. As you might know, we fired Matt Canada. So Matt Canada was fired after the Browns game, because we had 5 minutes to move down the field to get a field goal and couldn't do that. So they eventually fired him. But this goes deeper than the offensive coordinator. The team, I think, is really young. There's a lot of, like, George Pickens is one of our good guys, kind of like your DK Metcalf. Or Calf, or however you pronounce his name. He's a good receiver, but I feel like he's got to use his ego and his physicality on the field and just not talk crap in the media, because that's what he does. Talks a lot of crap in the media, puts heat on himself. He told the media to quiet last week after the TDs and all these kind of things, but he made the drama up. He doesn't know how to talk to the media yet and just say, oh, we want to play, 110%, have a good game. He's given them too much. The media write stories and then they make stuff out of it. So George needs to learn from that, but he's really physical. I'm a little bit worried about him in the long term, of him going not AB crazy, but that kind of mentality, because he's super great. He's a super good athlete, and we have a chance with him there. And now we're going into Kenny Pickett's still injured, but I think Mike Tomlin, he might play Mason Rudolph because he's a hot hand. But if Kenny Pickett is 100%, he'll play. But the thing is, our fan base now has seen Kenny Pickett struggle over the last 2 years. I still think he needs a chance. And I think actually in the NFL, I feel like the fan bases give up way too easy. When I was younger, back in the day, even 20 years ago watching, you waited 1, 2, 3, 4 years, 3 or 4 years for our quarterbacks to develop into the system. Now we want them like this. Drew Lock was a Denver guy, right? So was Drew Lock with the trade? He was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so he was a Denver guy. They drafted him. They gave up on him. So Geno Smith, they gave up on him at the Jets. It wasn't the right system for him. He comes to Seattle, and now he's booming. So I think the fan bases give up on quarterbacks way too easy. And they gave a lot to Mason Rudolph, had one of his best career games over the Bengals, and we scored 30 points for the first time in 56 games, which is crazy, since 2020 or something like that. It's been bad. We've just been like winning games or losing by 3 or whatever. But yeah, now they're on the Mason Rudolph train, but we don't know who's going to be the quarterback yet, because if Kenny Pickett's healthy, they'll play him. But if he's like got a scratch or still, the high sprain, they'll play Rudolph, and he might be he's only a contract for 1 more year, so they might play him out, and that's it. But we're not expected to do too much damage. But this game, dude, I don't know. Like this season for me is like we can beat the Ravens. We can go 5-1 in our division, but we can't beat the Cardinals. Cardinals versus Patriots were the first team in NFL history to ever lose back-to-back games to a team who was 2-10, 2-10. Ever.
Oh man,
in 100 years, ever. You can't do that.
Holy, no.
Yeah.
And what you just mentioned about Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph as well, man, is what I was trying to say before about Geno Smith. I do feel like that Geno Smith had some clean air last year for the first time in his career, really. And after the first year, everyone should have been pretty good with him this season. But I feel like after the first month, people dropped off on him dramatically so. And while I've definitely seen a couple of his games where I've raised the old eyebrow, still, I can't forget what he actually did for us last season. He was exceptional, but he was the comeback player of the year last year.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he fits your system so well too. You know, even now with your new running back is Kenneth Walker. He's playing great guns too, and you get the ball to DK. It's very similar in some aspects. Like, of course, he's more mobile than Kenny Pickett or Mason Rudolph, but you've got the playmakers. The entire Lockett, he's one of the best receivers out there. That's so underrated. You know, he's one of your number 2 receiver, Lockett. Like, get him the ball. He's very consistent. He reminds me of like a Hines Ward that catches the ball. So you got guys like that and DK Metcalf who can just run down the sidelines. So you can get to the playmakers, give them the ball, got a chance. So yeah, people give up on these quarterbacks way too easy, way too fast for me.
Yep. So I'm worried about the Steelers' momentum that they could or that they have created for themselves coming into Lumen Field this weekend. I think that we could be in for a really high-scoring game, Mark. I think we could be looking at like a 36-30 sort of a scoreline. I think it's going to be incredibly close between two desperate sides who are right there in the wild card mix, man. And as you said, whilst if you lose this game, it doesn't mean you're dead, but it does mean you can only make it mathematically, and you never ever want to be in that situation, bro. So genuinely, like I know what it's going to be, but hand on heart, what do you foresee in this game? Who you tipping?
If the Steelers are going to win this one, it's just so tough because I don't know. I'm going to say I don't think we're going to blow you guys out like that. I don't think if you guys go for the middle of the field, because we have no middle linebackers. We have lost now Elenham Roberts. He's gone, middle linebacker. We've got Miles Jack and Walker there, Michael Walker, guys in off the street. Miles Jack retired last year. So I'm going to say if we win this game, I'm going to choose to win, but 23-19 we win. But to me, it's a toss-up. Like, honest to goodness, it could be your direction, 27-21, because you guys are at home. We haven't won there for a while. We're so amped up from our win over the Bengals. We gotta like act like that's normal. But if we lose this one, we're done because then we have to wait. We still need some things to go our way, but if we lose this one, we are pretty much done. If 5 teams win this week, like the Bills, Texans, Colts, and we lose, and someone else, the week would be out.
Yeah.
So this is win or go home mentality, and for you guys, it's stay put at your number 7 seed or 6 seed. So if the Steelers to win, it's 23-19. I don't think it'd be that too high scoring. But our middle of the field defense and our secondary, just target Levi Wallace. He's really bad. Like he's one of our. By the way, you've got Artie Burns back there, one of our and Devin Bush too. You got 2 of our former first round picks.
Yo, true.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So that would be a revenge game for them.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do think that this will be a high scoring game. Maybe it will be a 33-27 scoreline, but I do think this is going to be incredibly high scoring. Mason Rudolph was very impressive last week.
It was good. It was pretty fun.
He was pretty fun to watch, man, for sure. Right. And Pickens did look absolutely elite, but that was against the Cincinnati Bengals outfit that just, I don't know, man. But we'll get to Cincinnati. So you're going Steelers. I'm going Seattle Seahawks, man. But this is a huge game, man. This maybe a month ago didn't look like it. It looked like it was going to be a bit of a fizzer. Now it's super vital for both these franchises, man. So I'm really looking forward. And I've got some backup. Devil's Sigh. He says Seahawks 23-20. Thank you very much, good sir. Absolutely. All right, now let's get sucked straight into the rest of the weekend now, man. And starting on Friday morning, Thursday night football over in the United States, the Cleveland Browns. Oh, I bet you're happy to talk about them right now.
I love them.
Browns versus the New York Jets. And on Sportsbet, we've got the Browns at $1.27. The Jets are $3.78. And Mark, I've got to get your opinion on what I'm about to say, mate, because I think if Deshaun Watson and Chubb were still active for the Browns, even though Joe Flacco is doing really well right now, Browns are AFC Championship game material. And I think a lot of people should consider themselves lucky that they're not at 100% full strength. And they've been rather unlucky in the injury department because they look like a team that could play in the Super Bowl, mate. They have been incredible this season, bro. After so much drama leading into the year where a lot of people were thinking about hating them because of Deshaun Watson and how much that cost and how much was riding on it, I would say, what's your opinion on this? Would you say that even though he's not playing, Deshaun Watson has all that drama? Do you think it's paid off so far, or are we still halfway through? What do you make of the Browns, man? And
the Browns have to make the Browns are a funny franchise because they've been bad for so long. They've had so many different quarterbacks here and there, right? I think we split 1-1. But this season, I actually think I like Nick Chubb. He's one of my favorite running backs out there, even though he's a Brown. I think he's one of the best running backs in the league. When that injury, people would say that Minka went too low and he did on purpose. I don't think so. I think it was just playing football. Because nowadays you can't hit in the head, so they almost have to go low because they got to make the tackle. And then if you go to the head, they flag him. If you go to the legs, they get in trouble. But Nick Chubb, I do agree with you that I believe that he's missing. Watson, I don't really rate him too much as a football player, man. To be honest, I saw him early. I know he got better near the end of the season before he got injured. The start of the season, though, his throws were off. He's missing throws. Because of course he missed a few years of football as well. Now, all the allegation stuff aside, just talking football, I don't rate him that highly. But the Browns have put all their eggs in one basket to have him as their quarterback. But they've got some interesting moves to happen because if they can act like this with Joe Flacco, who's been 38 years of age, then why can't you even have him? Maybe you sign him for a year deal. You go with DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He was going okay before he messed the bed too. But it's funny because Joe Flacco's 38. He's been signed. And this time last year, all the Steelers needed was one win over the Jets and we would have been in the playoffs. And Joe Flacco looked awful in that game. The Jets versus the Dolphins. And Joe Flacco was the quarterback. He looked terrible. And if he won that game, we were in the playoffs. Yep. Now, how far we go, we don't know because we were waiting for things to happen. But Joe Flacco and the Browns and their offensive unit is carving it up. Like Amari Cooper's going well. Njoku, they're actually buying into what they're selling in the run game, all that kind of stuff. They've got a good O-line. They got that new tackle, I think. Is it Darwin Jones? I think he might be a right tackle, I think that his name is. I'm pretty sure. The big fella, he's like 6'8" or something like that. He's huge. So they're doing really well. Now, can they win a Super Bowl? Not too sure. How far can Flacco take them? But so far, he hasn't stuffed up. Like he's throwing picks here and there, but he's winning games. And they're scoring points. And their defense too. They got Greg Delpit. He's he plays safety. They got some other good corners there. They got the other bloke I don't like too much. A lot of guys with Steelers history, like Myles Garrett. Not a huge fan of him. What happened with Rudolph, but football sense, you can't stop him. What's the other guy? Jock as well. JOK. He's a good bloke too. The middle linebacker. They're physical. They can play some good physical football, and they've won 10 games. And they could be a hard matchup in versus the Jets. And Jets got nothing to play for. So they lock this up. They'd be 11. The Browns, to me, should win this game. They're playing good football. They are. As much as I hate to say, they are playing good football.
I do feel like this could be a danger game, though. They could take the Jets a little bit lightly because the Jets, they still got a defense that shouldn't be sneezed at, even though they did leak 28 points to the Commanders last weekend. I do think this might be closer than anticipated. I am still going to back the Cleveland Browns, man. But I'll tell you what, bro, if they can maintain the rage, this team, with some of the form of other AFC teams at the moment, the Browns really could play in an AFC championship game, man. They just got to really well and truly believe in themselves when the time comes. Too. Yeah.
They can win the division if they win this game and they beat the Bengals last week in the divisional round. And if we beat the Ravens, they can win the division because if they win this week, win next week, and we beat the Ravens and we go 2-0, which would be good for us, and the Browns would win the division for the first time ever,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah,
They've
it
never
would be
won. I'm pretty
crazy.
sure they've never won the AFC North, which formed in 2002. They might have won the Central days. I'm not too sure. Like the last one they might have won Central was like back in 1996 or something like that. But they've never won the AFC North, and we've never been last. So the Browns are playing for something now because they're starting to believe in their team, and they're playing good physical football on defense.
Yep.
So, and Joe Flacco, veteran guy, just go through your routes and find the right guy who's open. Give it to your running backs, screens, whatever. Down the field, play defense. They're winning games by 30 as well. So, yeah, they're tough.
So you're tipping Browns by 14 plus or 1 to 13?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go for. I can't say for. I almost threw up. It almost hurt me. I've already given enough. We'll go 13. We'll go like they win by 8 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm iffy. I'm iffy on the margin as well, man. I'm gonna stick to 1 to 13, man. I think the Jets defense could rattle the cage a little bit. Let's move on to one of maybe the game of the weekend right here and now. The Dallas Cowboys versus a team that's won their division for the first time in 30 years, the Detroit Lions. And on Sportsbet, Cowboys at home are $1.39. The Lions sit at $3.04. Holy,
mate, that's
what's your catchphrase? I nearly said it too, mate.
Holy dooly.
Holy dooly. $3.04 about Detroit. Man, that is some value, mate. What do you make of this contest?
Well, first of all, shout out to the Lions who won their first division in 30 years. I think it's fantastic, and that's why I think I love sports. I think sports. You know, you follow the Cowboys and NFL, and I think we always love. That's the reason why we love stuff like that. They've turned their program around. They've won their first division in 30 years. This is a true test because they're now fighting for the number 1 overall seed. I don't mind backing the Lions here. Dead set. What do the Cowboys want? Do they want to go into the playoffs and get number 1 seed? Philadelphia is falling off. Oh, the Niners kind of have it. Sorry, I forgot the Niners. The Niners are in front too. They'd have to fall off as well. So if they fall off, they've got a chance. But I would still see that the Lions want to finish the next 2 games. And if the Niners do fall off with some slight chance, then maybe they might get the number 1 or at least number 2. But these guys in the playoffs are ready. Who wants it more? Who wants to be more physical? Is it Dak Prescott going out there throwing 4 TDs, or is it the Dak we see where he throws incompletions and picks? So $3 value, like that's not bad. Like I'm probably going Lions.
It's so enticing, man, that it might make me do something dumb here because I do think, because I do think that the Cowboys are. I think they're a bit bigger. I think, as you said, I think they're a little bit more physical defensively than Detroit, who while they've just won the division, they've been a really good team all season. Just over the past 5 weeks or so, man, it's their defense that's really letting them down in games. Whether they're winning or not, it is the weakness. So if Dak Prescott can go home, these Cowboys, they've been on the road 2 weeks in a row. They're coming back 0-2. They haven't lost in their home stadium for, I think, 18 months. Thereabouts. It's a really good stretch that they're on at home. So while the value is absolutely there on the Lions, and the Lions did travel to Arrowhead in game 1 of the season and win.
That's great.
It was fantastic. I've got to play it safe, man. I'm gonna actually go against you, and I'm gonna say the Dallas Cowboys.
How do they win then? How do they win then? Because I think that the Lions are the more hotter team right now. How do the Cowboys win?
Well, I think it's going to be their defense. And I think that if their A game of the Cowboys can rock up, bro, I CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott igniting big time. The Detroit Lions, man, as I said, their defense is susceptible. It is susceptible to leaking points, man.
Yeah.
You don't want to get into a shootout with the Lions. Yeah. No way. No team wants to get into a shootout with the Detroit Lions. So I do trust that the Cowboys have the better defense. That's what they will need to rely upon the most this weekend, but they obviously need to fire on all cylinders.
It's funny for both these franchises. It's very, very pivotal because the Cowboys should do what they normally do, is win these kind of games. And the Lions got to break what their curse is and win the big games. They have to get that winning culture back, and the Lions can't fall back into the same old Lions. They got to go out there and we are the new Lions and we're taking control. So this game is a playoff game, like
It's
2 weeks
huge.
early.
It's huge, isn't it? So you're going Lions. I'm going the Cowboys in this game. And the hopes of a NFC number 1 seed will remain alive for one of these sides at the end of the weekend. But I'm going to just jump ahead a little bit. This isn't chronological. Let's go with the flow here. Let's look at the number 1 seed in the NFC right now, who got their pants pulled down on Christmas Day, bro. The Washington Commanders versus the San Francisco 49ers this weekend from FedEx Field. The Commanders, the home side, are $6.70 outsiders. The 49, the 49ers are $1.11. The line is at 13.5. So you want to talk about maybe a get right game? This is it. It's formed very nicely. It's very lucky for the 49ers that they aren't up against the Seattle Seahawks or someone else like that. They're up against a Commanders side who, in my opinion, have a case to be made that they are the most disappointing side of 2023. 49ers, man. If they win this game, I believe that they do sew up the number 1 seed. I believe I might need to be corrected, but if they do lose this game, and it would take an absolute miracle if they did, and one of Dallas or Detroit are winning this weekend, and another NFC team that we'll get to very shortly. For Dallas Cowboys, for the first time in their history, just about, Washington Commanders fans this weekend. Same too with the Detroit Lions, bro. But I don't see the Commanders doing any sort of damage to the 49ers this weekend. What about yourself?
The Commanders are a really bad franchise, to be honest. Like recent history, going back to when they were the Redskins and they had some championships up there, things like that. But of recent, they've been a really bad franchise. Like they've not been existent at all in any seasons. Now they played spoiler with us. In 2020 we're on 11-0 streak, and they beat us, and they games here and there. But I can't even imagine being a fan like that, where of course you always follow your team, but it must be rough because they're 4-11. They've got no hopes. All they can do is play spoiler now too. But this game, you pretty much think the 49ers have to bounce back. Like if they don't bounce back, then the 49er fans will start to get worried about their playoff hopes. But they have too many weapons. Debo, McCaffrey, Kittle, offensive line's crazy. Brock Purdy, he'll bounce back too, because you verse a pretty good Ravens side as well. They should take care of business for the Commanders. You'd have to. If they don't, it's not too worrying just yet. But just hand the ball to McCaffrey and just win by, 17 or 20-0, and just hand the ball. That guy's a gun.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I think even though Lamar Jackson now is the favorite to take out the MVP, I still stand by that Christian McCaffrey is the true MVP this entire season. I know maybe there's been 2 games where he's been quiet, but Lamar Jackson's also had 2 games this year where he's been quiet. I truly believe that CMC is the MVP of the year, but it is a quarterback's award, isn't it, mate? And so it probably will go to Jackson, won't it?
It will, and that's why I don't get too into much with the awards now, because it always goes back to the quarterbacks and never to the actual most valued player, which should be CMC. I just want to try and see how many yards he gets per carry, because when I saw that game against the Ravens, even though they lost, he was still going pretty good. And I just want to see what do we got his stats. CMC, he's got almost 1,400 yards, so a pretty good season, and he's got 5.4. Yeah, dude, with 14 TDs. Maybe if you had 17 TDs or 18 and maybe, 1,700 yards, but he's the bloke there. He's a dude. Even receiving, he's got 2,000 yards. He's the guy. Like, he's the dude. 7 TDs, yeah. That dude, he deserves some praise. And every time he gets the ball, getting 5.4 yards per carry. That's 2 handoffs with a first down. Hand the ball to McCaffrey, you win. Yeah. So, Commanders, I'm sorry that this game is done.
I'm sorry. Look, this is a very lucky draw that they've got here, the 49ers. Look, you can only beat who's in front of you, But this is very lucky, very fortuitous that they're coming up against the Commanders. They do travel across the country, I should say. But yeah, 49ers should be way too good, and they'll win this game by 14 plus. But the Cowboys and the Lions and another team in the NFC, which we'll get to shortly, will be absolutely wearing Washington Commanders hats this weekend. And speaking of a team that we would just actually, no, we won't go there. We'll go into this game now. We'll travel into the AFC, the Houston Texans versus the Tennessee Titans. And on Sportsbet, the Texans $1.52, the Titans are $2.54. I imagine that CJ Stroud will be back at quarterback for the Texans this weekend. I watched the entire game between the Titans and the Seahawks last weekend, and they shot themselves, the Titans I'm talking about, in the foot rather dramatically last weekend, I should say. And this entire year, man, I believe they are just about the most penalized side in the entire NFL. Or the other stat too is that they have more false starts than any other side in the NFL for 2023, bro. Ryan Tannehill definitely showed his rust in his first game in 3 months or thereabouts or so. Derrick Henry, though, throwing for a touchdown in that game, man, that was wild to see. Texans, they went down pretty heavily to the Browns last weekend, man. There was a great 90-yard touchdown that they scored, but I don't know, man. What do you make about this game, bro? I find this game a little bit more difficult to tip, man.
Here's a tip for you.
Yeah, man.
Jake, I know we're getting the Jaguars soon. I think Trevor Lawrence is still out. Jaguars have been on shaky ground. They're all I think in the standings they're all similar. You'd have here Texans are going to verse the Tennessee Titans now. I think they should, if Stroud's back, they should get the dub. They're playing pretty good football. They might have a chance to win the division, then also beat Indy, right? We need either Texans to lose or Indy to lose for us for a chance. So they might win 2 in a row to win the division. And I think that probably is their aim to do so, because I think the AFC South now is down to, they're all the same. Jaguars, dude, they've lost 4 in a row. That's insane. They're 8-7, Colts 8-7, Texans 8-7. So Texans, if they win this game, they have a good chance to win the division. So, but they need Stroud back too. He's been pretty good before he got injured as well.
So who's your tip here, mate? Are you going to go the Texans or the Titans?
Yeah. Titans are, they're kind of a nothing team too. Derrick Henry, sorry, mate, you're fantastic, but you just on a you know what? Also, DeAndre Hopkins, he went there as well, and I was like, why'd you go to a team that's going to do nothing over the next 3 or 4 years? No arrow pointing up. They're just hanging around. Ryan Tannehill's not as bad as Trubisky, but he's pretty bad. So I'm going to say Texans win. Something like that, in 27-23.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Texans as well, man, because I do believe that CJ Stroud is due to return this weekend. And it's massive for your Steelers if the Texans win or lose this game, bro. I'm sure you'll be watching this with a very, very keen eye this weekend. So let's move on to the next game. It is the Chicago Bears versus the Atlanta Falcons from Soldier Field. This is by and large, unfortunately, a bit of a nothing game. So let's not spend too much time on it. But going into sportsbet.com.au, we've got the Bears at $1.60, the Falcons at $2.34. Just plain and simple, I think the home ground advantage will be good enough for the Bears to win. I know the Falcons did a pretty good job on beating the Colts up last weekend, man.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. I just think traveling to Soldier Field, I think they'll get frozen out, and I think the Bears will win this one in a close game. But I'm going to tip the Bears to win 1-13.
I'm going to go the other side. I'm going to go the Falcons because they're more fighting for a division chance too. You know what's funny though? The NFC South is probably the least division I watch. I feel like I never get any footage with that because it's not the most sexiest franchise. It used to be back in the day with Breeze and those guys. But I'm going to go Falcons win that one because they're fighting for the division with the Bucks need them to lose. That's their best chance to win. Also, they're probably fighting for your spot too. The 7th seed over there. They're probably around that mark. They're probably there's a little bit more of a miracle for it to make it for them. But let's move on to the next game. And speaking of that division,
We've got a bit of a rivalry game happening here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New Orleans Saints down at Raymond James Stadium. And on Sportsbet, the Saints are $2.28. The Bucks are $1.63. And Steelers Nation Australia, the Bucks hit some form over the past couple of weeks, mate.
Baker Mayfield, mate, gets a chance.
He's good
over there. They've won 4 in a row. They're not bad over there. They're hidden talent.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. What do? They defeated Green Bay in Green Bay, and then they absolutely obliterated Jacksonville last weekend, bro. Baker Mayfield. I've always been like a fan of him, like not like overly. I really like what Baker Mayfield can bring. I think he's been harshly dealt with the past couple of years, man.
He got thrown under the bus. The Browns team threw him under the bus. Dead set.
Yep.
Dead set.
And against the team with Derek Carr at quarterback, I watched that game against the Los Angeles Rams last weekend, and it wasn't crisp, man. There was a point there where they looked like they were starting to get back into it, and they didn't start badly against the LA Rams last weekend, man. But this defense, I don't think against Baker Mayfield, who's killing it at the moment, they'll be able to contain the Bucks. And I'm going to go the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to. Well, I'm a bit iffy about the line. I'll say 1-13 this weekend.
I'll go the Bucks too as well, because they're also fighting for their division. But I think that Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback in this system with the Bucks than he was with the Browns. And also, I'm not a fan of Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is one of the most maybe overrated quarterbacks out there. He got a big deal with the Saints.
Yeah,
doesn't do anything. The Saints are like the Titans. Nothing happening.
There's
nothing going on.
Yep. Alrighty. Let's go into the next game now. And the next contest is from TIAA Bank Field. The Jaguars versus the Panthers. A game between two giant pussies. On Sportsbet, we've got the Jaguars at $1.33. We've got the Panthers at $3.35. We talked about a get-right game for San Francisco a couple of minutes ago. If Jacksonville lose this game, bro, and the Texans win, Jacksonville are in all sorts of trouble, mate.
Who's their quarterback? Who's going to be there? I think Lawrence is out, right?
That's true. Yes. I think it's concussion for Trevor Lawrence.
That's why they've lost 4 in a row. I think he also he sprained something else. So I think he's still out. I think he could be out still. If he plays, they got a chance. But they ever since the Jaguars grabbed our terrible tower and, they stomped on it, they've lost 4 games in a row.
They've cursed themselves, man.
Yeah, happens all the time.
They've cursed themselves. It does, bro. It does. Look, Panthers, man, I don't know what the hell happened last weekend. With the Panthers and the Packers, bro, for the Panthers to be in a winning situation like that. I don't think they'll be in that sort of a situation again, though. I think the Jaguars will win this game, even if I believe his name is Bethard. Or Bethard is at quarterback. I think Bethard, he's done enough, and I think they can get the job done against the Panthers side, who's only got 2 wins.
That's a good one too, because if they lose that game, then it all goes back to their division too, from the AFC South. So the Panthers are playing spoiler. Panthers right now just want to win a game. With I don't know if that is it. No, not sure. Who's their quarterback? I forgot the other bloke's name.
Bryce Young.
Right, is he still playing too? Because he's had a really bad year.
Yeah. No, he's playing this weekend. Yep.
Okay. I haven't seen one bit of football for him because I've never seen it in NFC South. So I guess they're playing. They're just playing to win games and get culture back. That's what they're doing. So if they beat the Jags, then Jags are out. But I'd say win by 3 points, Jags. You'd think so.
Yeah. I think it's huge panic stations. Like it's panic stations sort of now, but if they lose this game at home to the Panthers, man, they're in trouble, man. Let's go into the next game now, and this is a rivalry game as well. Buffalo Bills versus the New England Patriots, and on sportsbet.com.au, we've got gee whiz, the Bills at $1.13, the Patriots at $6.05. Bill Belichick, this could be his second last game in control of the New England Patriots. The Patriots have been the bogey side of the Bills overall, but I would say over the past 4 seasons, the Bills have made New England their bitches to be perfectly frank with you.
Mhm.
The Patriots did defeat the Bills earlier this season, and the Bills last weekend against the Chargers nearly absolutely buggered it. They nearly buggered it for themselves last weekend against the Chargers. And the Patriots, they got the win last weekend. This is a game that has a sniff of an upset, but in the freezing cold, I know Belichick would know how to handle those conditions and he would have some sort of game plan. But I think there's just way too much riding on it for Buffalo to drop this game against such an ordinary team like the New England Patriots this year.
You'd think so. Your head says Bills. The upset says it could happen because Josh Allen, he throws a lot of interceptions. He's very careless with the ball. He's a gunslinger. But if the Patriots come out and play good football and take advantage of that kind of stuff, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be shocked. I'd be like, oh, wow, that's crazy. I wouldn't be too shocked that Pats win because they're not a good football team, but they like versing teams like the Bills and these kind of guys. They show up in these moments. They're like our Browns right now. Like if the Browns aren't winning, they'll try and take it to them.
Yeah.
Like this to me wasn't an easy game. This is a win by 4 or 5 points by the Bills. So I'll go the Bills, but I wouldn't be shocked for the Pats to win.
I'm with you right there. I'm going to go the Bills to win this game 1-13. Let's go into the next game, and it is the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Arizona Cardinals from Lincoln Financial Field. And the Philadelphia Eagles, looking for them now. The Philadelphia Eagles are $1.13. The Arizona Cardinals are $6. The Eagles, they did get the win last weekend against their rivals, the New York Giants, but they only won by a single converted touchdown, man. The Eagles, bro, they are on the downward slide big time. And it wouldn't surprise me if they only win this game by 10 points. 10 points, some would say, is a pretty good margin. But at the start of the year, you would expect the Eagles to win this game by 30 points. Such was the form that they were in, and for Arizona as well. While the Arizona Cardinals, in saying that though, they've been a better team than what everybody was anticipating, I would say. They're like the Saints, they're like the Titans, as you've mentioned. They're a bit of a nothing side at the moment, bro. Look, I got to be honest, I don't like the way Kyler Murray plays, and I don't like the contract saga and everything else that went on there. I don't like the way Kyler Murray goes about his business, both on and off the field. I'm going to go the Philadelphia Eagles here, man, but I'm not going 14 plus. I'm going to say 1-13 again, mate.
Philly has to win this game. Jalen Hurts, all their weapons, Devontae Smith, all those dudes, AJ Brown, whatnot, Swift. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? They got to do that. But also, if they stop the run with Connor and they don't allow they get to Murray too, they'll win this game because Philly's D line is unbelievable. They got Javon Hargraves, Fletcher Cox is still there too. Their D line is pretty good. So if they stop the run with James Conner, they win the game.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So we're both going Philadelphia in that instance. And I just touched on the team that took Philadelphia all the way to the edge, but I don't think it's going to be the case in this game. The New York Giants versus the Los Angeles Rams this weekend. And on Sportsbet, the New York Giants are sitting at $3.27. The Rams are $1.34. And so far as the NFC side of things go, man, I don't think anyone wants to play the Los Angeles Rams at the moment. They are potentially, after what happened to the 49ers this past weekend, the Rams could now make a case that they are the most informed team of the NFC, to be honest with you. And the Giants, while they did take Philadelphia to the edge, they're coming up against one of the informed teams of the NFC. And I don't think they'll be able to do it at home. I think the Rams travel to MetLife Stadium and they get the dub by 14 plus.
I think as well that with the Giants, the Tommy DeVito little error thing happening was kind of deflated now too, because I think he got benched or injured the other day. So I think that's kind of like, it was really fun for 2 weeks and he played really good football. The Rams are the better side. Kyrie Williams, their running back's really good. Also, one of my ex-Steelers, Kevin Dotson, his right guard, playing fantastic. So a lot of Steelers fans are like, oh my goodness, we miss him. But that's business. That's football. You can't change that. He's doing really well over there. Sean McVay's got a good side, and they're starting to warm up. In what I thought might have been a down year for the Rams, they're warming up, they're getting hot, and they're staying under the radar. They should win this game. It's the Giants. They will beat them 27-13 or something like that.
I would say so as well. And I've got to say too, like hindsight's a wonderful thing, right? But with all the injuries that they had last season, including Matt Stafford, and then going out and getting all these receivers in the draft, man, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but it actually makes sense, the trajectory that they're on and that they're back in playoff contention. I know that they were disastrous last year, a year after the winning the Super Bowl, but it actually really does make sense that the LA Rams are back in playoff contention. So full credit to that franchise.
They've still got Stafford, still got a great offensive-minded coach. They had a really bad year, and now they've bounced back with those weapons. Puka Nacua is going insane. A lot of dudes out there are playing really good football, and the Ram mentality right now is just to go play physical and hit hard and play. And they're getting back to playoff form. And you're right, one bad year, bounce back, they're right in it.
Yep. Let's get into the next game now. And this is a pretty important game, man. The Colts versus the Raiders.
Ooh.
And especially with what happened over the weekend on Christmas Day, this is huge. So the Colts at home are $1.66. The Raiders are at $2.23. I'm going to let myself be overcome by that value. The Raiders are playing so well defensively. The Colts, they got bashed by the Atlanta Falcons this past weekend to the tune of about 19 or 29 points, something to that effect. That was a really disappointing effort by the Indianapolis Colts, and they were just hanging on. But the Raiders, man, their playoff hopes are still alive, especially after defeating the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. Incredible, bro. But there's a lot of good luck in that game, though, man. Their attacking game by the Raiders, it wasn't that flash. They took a couple of really fortuitous interceptions, and it was that defense that enabled that victory against the Chiefs last weekend. I'm going to tip the Raiders in this game, though. I think they're on a wave of momentum that can pip the Colts.
I agree with you. You know, last week in the Chiefs, Aiden O'Connell didn't throw a football in 3 quarters near the end. Do you know that?
That's what I'm talking about, man. I knew it was like 2 quarters or 3 quarters, but it was something ridiculous like that.
He didn't throw one of them. Not one football. Not one completion. No, I'm pretty sure he didn't throw one football in 3 quarters. They just ran the ball and played defense, and they got the turnovers, and Mahomes was running around crazy. The Chiefs, I think, are in a bit of trouble, man. I think their time might be up unless they're going to have a bit of draft.
We'll pause on that for just a moment, man. So who are you tipping in this game, Colts or Raiders?
Oh, Raiders. I think Raiders have a slight chance at the 7th seed, so they're going to try and win this game. They've been playing good defense, good football recently with their new coach too. I can't remember his name.
I want to say his last name, Pierce. I want to say
Pierce. Yeah, the Giants guy. He's going all right.
I'm going to tip the Raiders as well at $2.23 as well. I'm going to let that value wash over me, man, and I'm going to take it. So speaking of that team, bro, oh boy, at the start of the year, everyone thought that this was going to be a blockbuster, and this is last chance saloon, in my opinion. The Chiefs versus the Cincinnati Bengals from Arrowhead Stadium on Sportsbet. The Chiefs are $1.29. The Bengals are $3.62. I think that's a little bit too big. I thought it would be a bit closer than that. So there might be some value there if you want to take the Cincinnati Bengals. This franchise, these two franchises have played a really important games over the past 3 years or so. It's not a rivalry, but there's certainly some bad blood between the two at the moment. The Chiefs, bro, what? I'm still in the mind frame that, look, they're still going to play playoffs. There's no doubt about that. They're going to take up their division title and host a game. They are susceptible to a wild card first weekend loss the way that they are playing at the moment. Agree. That's so hard to accept, man.
Chiefs are in a bit of trouble for sure. So if they win this one, I think that they win the division. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Yes. If they lose, the Raiders and Denver are still two away. But if the Chiefs lose this one, that'd be crazy for the last for the week after. But the Bengals are hanging on they got to win this game. Otherwise, I think they're out because they're like the same as us. They're like 8-7. Mahomes, you'd think would turn it around, but they have just been their receivers are dropping footballs. They can't block Mahomes. Mahomes run around crazy like normal, but The fairy tale thing's starting to fade away a little bit. Like you said, Lions bit them at the start. The Raiders beat them last week. You'd think Chiefs would win this game because that's how important it should be. But I wouldn't be too scared of them in the playoffs. I'm more scared of what maybe Miami or someone like that, in the playoffs.
Let me put it to you like this. I was sort of alluding to it right at the start of the stream. If the Browns and Chiefs went head to head this weekend, I'm tipping the Browns, bro. I think the Browns would take it.
It's a better team right now than because Chiefs just got Mahomes and Kelsey, but Kelsey's not playing his best football either.
No,
and a lot of receivers are dropping footballs, and they just seem very off, and they're all frustrated and yelling at each other. Mahomes getting upset, pissed off. So I can see the Bengals win this game too. To be honest, the Chiefs
I can see them. Yeah, I can see them winning. Yeah, this is a hard game to tip, Mark. Like, the Cincinnati Bengals, man, they're only missing Burrow. I think Jamar Chase does return this weekend after a concussion, I believe. So they become better offensively. They're only missing Burrow, and Browning can play. The kid can play, bro.
Browning had to stuff up once. He had to. He was going too well.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had, and also we had their number. We had their number his first game. So the Steelers, and we played them pretty tough as well. So if in this kind of setting, they could go out in there and spoil the Chiefs. Why not? Browning's a good quarterback. He's not bad.
No, he's not. No, he is a good quarter. I don't know, man. Bengals can win this game. I give them a massive chance. And if you are a Bengals fan, I'm just reiterating again, the Bengals are valued at $3.62 this weekend, man. That is really good, but I'm not going to tempt fate. I'm going to say the Chiefs do get back on track with this game, and they get a dub against the Bengals, but it's not going to be easy, and I'm not entirely confident about it, but I wouldn't be entirely confident about tipping Cincy as well, man. This is a super ultra important game for both these franchises, and I think if Cincy lose this game, I think that's just about their season done.
I think so. I think they're out because they've lost about 6 AFC to AC teams. They have no good record against our division, and they've lost a lot of games against AFC. So they're like on the out. They're like 11 or 10. They're done.
Yep. So just before I continue as well, this is Steelers Nation Australia here, and there will be a link provided at the conclusion of this live stream. Please go and check out his channel as well, and I'd really thank him for his time here tonight. There are 3 more games to get to, and a lot of people would say that the next contest, it is the game of the round. It's going to be an AFC warfare, man. First versus second in that conference. I'm pretty sure anyway. In any event, it's the Ravens versus the Dolphins from M&T Bank Stadium. And on sportsbet.com.au, it is the Ravens $1.52. The Dolphins sit at $2.55. Both these sides getting massive victories last weekend, none more so than the Baltimore Ravens out at Santa Clara against the San Francisco 49ers, man. I know that it absolutely tears you apart that the Ravens are going as well as what they are, man. I know, but
you're a good
talk to us about the Ravens, man.
Ravens are a good side. They got Lamar. I'm not a huge fan of Lamar. I think his passing can be very inaccurate, but at the same time, they've got the weapons. They use their tight ends well. They use like three tight ends on their stuff, but they're a running team. They base their stuff around Lamar Jackson's all around him. Pretty much, but they've got Beckham Jr.'s going okay. They've got Zay Flowers doing all right too. They're very physical on defense, as you see last week, getting the versus the 49ers and beating them up too. Patrick Queen, all those blokes. They've just always been coached like that with John Harbaugh. It's the way they are. So when we face them, and sometimes I wish the game wasn't in Week 18 because it might not mean if they win this game, they're going to be number one seed. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure if they win this one, and then I'm not too sure what happens next week after that. The Dolphins, if they lose that one, but this to me is getting the home field advantage, and the Ravens would love to have more time off. So would the Dolphins too. But Dolphins are going into M&T Bank Stadium, and Tua and Waddle and the other dude Tyreek Hill is fast as. Dude, I had no idea. This is whoever's got the last possession, I think wins it. But we did see what the Ravens did to the 49ers.
Yeah. It's
So
hard to go past the Ravens after what they did, but I'm sort of fearing that they put so much energy into that game that they might be a little bit flat against the Dolphins side, who on the other side of the coin, they got that dub against a team that's over 500, even better than that. Like the Cowboys are no team to sniff at, bro. So that was a massive win for the Dolphins. Yeah, they've certainly got the weapons, but I think the Ravens will account for the Dolphins, but this is going to be a great test. I know that last weekend was a great test for the Dolphins to see where they're at, but now they're on the road and they're up against the best team in the AFC, and there's a shot still for the Dolphins to nab number 1 seed overall, bro. So this is huge for the Dolphins, man. No, I'm going to go the Ravens, but I do give the Dolphins a chance because I'm feeling like maybe they might have expended a little bit of energy, the Ravens, and they might be a little bit flat coming into this weekend, or they might be chock full of momentum.
I tell you what, I've been watching the Ravens for a very long time, and the John Harbaugh Ravens team, they win preseason games. I don't care. Like people are saying to me, they want the Ravens to win this game so that when they have it easier, when they won't rest starters, they don't care. Like they said, play through the whistle until the 5th quarter. I've seen John Harbaugh try and get points when he's been losing by 20 near the end to get a field goal. Like that's just the way they're coached. They've won 24 games preseason in a row, or so, maybe they lost one for the first time ever. Maybe I don't know, but they just keep going. So at home, Ravens probably win this game, but I wouldn't be too shocked if the Dolphins win too. But I'd probably go Ravens. Let's go 27, 25, something weird.
Oh, okay.
Some odd score.
Yeah. All right, then. The Ravens for me have always been a side that have always, you never ever count them out, but they're so hard to get a grip on over the past few years. Like, that they're always going to play super hard-nosed football, but their season last year and even the year before, man, they're just while that they're always going to bite you, they're always going to come at you. They're such a hard team to actually grip what kind of form that they're in. But now it's sort of undeniable, man. They are playing Baltimore Ravens football that has made them one of the better franchises in the past decade or so.
Lamar Jackson versus the NFC is ridiculous. Like he's got a 21-1 record or something like that. Now Lamar Jackson, something like that. It's some obscure stat. Now Lamar Jackson versus Steelers, we've beaten him. I think he's 1-3 or 1-4, like something like that too. So with AFC squad though, but also think back to I think it was a year. I don't know if he's still there or where. I think Brian Flores, he was with the Dolphins, not anymore, but then Brian Flores is somewhere else. I don't know where he went to. I forget where he went to. Anyways, back, it was the Dolphins versus Ravens a few years ago where they outsmarted them and they blitzed Lamar every single time. And I think they blitzed him like 70% of the time. They won the game.
Shit, that rings a bell, mate.
That was one of the best games I've ever seen. It might have been 2020 or 2021, something like that. Brian Flores defense. He was on my squad, and now he's got. I can't remember where he's gone exactly, but he's gone somewhere else. I'll come to my mind in a minute. But they need to get after Lamar. Once you take care of Lamar and don't let him scramble, you let him scramble and run around crazy. It's over. Like he's too good. He's too fast. He's too fast. Yeah. So, and two of the same too, though, man. Two of the same.
Yep. All right. So we've only got 2 more games to get through, and this game is a nothing game as well, just quietly. There is a little bit riding on it, but we've got the Denver Broncos versus the LA Chargers. It is a divisional rivalry game. And on Sportsbet, we've got the Broncos at $1.39, the Chargers at $3.04. It's amazing that 98% of the NFL universe have been saying, sack Brandon Staley, sack him now. And the week that they do, they come out and they nearly defeat the Buffalo Bills in front of their home fans. The Chargers looked reinvigorated last weekend, man. They looked like the team we thought they would, even though Easton Stick was at quarterback and Justin Herbert's out for the rest of the season. And meanwhile, the Denver Broncos, man, I without sounding too disrespectful, I did think that winning streak in the middle of the year for them was fraudulent. I was sort of anticipating them to really drop off, and then it was sort of confirmed last weekend when they went down to the New England Patriots, man. Even though they were up, I think, by like 10 or 15 points at halftime or something to that effect, bro. Yeah. What do you reckon about this one?
Well, I don't know if I think Denver's cooked for the playoffs. There's something like that. So this is to me. Let me just see the standing because I remember watching that Patriot game too. What they come back by 17? You said 17 points, something like that.
Yeah, they were up like 10 or 13 points against New England, and New England came roaring back. Just quickly before you go on, Devil Sai, thank you very much for tuning in for this entire live stream, man. And he's tipping Ravens 45-41, man. We're in for the game of the year this weekend. Yes, please. I'll take that.
Ravens got a good defense, though. So I don't know if they're going to allow 41 points. Do you know what I mean? But that would be it would be
incredible.
Shootout.
Yep.
Yeah.
So have you got that? Where are they sitting, man? Where are the Broncos at the moment?
They're 7 and 8, so they're out of the playoffs. They can't make it. They have to win.
Out.
Well, I don't know if they're out, but they have to win 2 and everyone stuff up.
Yeah.
So everyone's 8 and 7. I think they're pretty much done 7 and 8. Their season's over because they have to win 2, and then it's a long shot with Colts and Texans and Jags and us and Bengals and Browns. Everyone's in front. Bills are in front. Yeah, they're pretty much done. So I'd say Chargers win because Denver's now falling again because they had a good middle ground, like you said. Bad start, good middle, bad end.
Yep.
So Chargers win.
Sorry, I don't know what to make. This is a flip of the coin game. I really liked what the Chargers did last weekend, eh? I think I'm right there with you, bro. I think I'm going to go the Chargers.
What is Denver playing for? Nothing.
Nothing now.
Nothing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm with you. No, I'm with you, man. I really like the value as well, bro. I think that's big on the Chargers. I'm going to go the Chargers, bro, like you. Yeah, for sure. Let's go with it. All right, this is the final game of the weekend, and it is another rivalry game. It is the Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers from US Bank Stadium in Minnesota. We've got the Vikings at $1.73, the Packers at $2.12. I have no idea what Packers side is going to rock up this weekend. Who knows?
2 7-8 teams. Vikings have lost 2 in a row. Jordan Love versus Kirk Cousins. He's out. Well, they had the Josh Dobbs experiment that was done. Now they got Mullins in there, Nick Mullins.
Yep.
So I think they might have a chance for the 7th seed, but I think you're too far in front because they're now 7. Similar thing as the Denver Broncos. I think they're too far away. I'd probably just go, to be honest, just Green Bay. Green Bay with Jordan Love to win it.
It's just like they only just pipped the Panthers this past weekend. They got pumped by Tampa Bay the week before. You would say that the Vikings, they took Lions to the limit last weekend. You would say, yeah, Vikings. Yeah, absolutely. But it's just the game. It's just the Packers, man. They'll just come out and just win. I don't ever know with that side, bro. But look, to not be too disrespectful as well, this is another last chance saloon game for both these franchises. They're both still alive, even though it's all mathematical at the moment. So it is a massive game, bro. But I just don't want to trust the Packers. I really don't want to trust them. But it's against the Vikings, who are another team where you just don't ever want to give them the benefit of the doubt ever, sort of thing. So who are you tipping in this game, mate? I genuinely have no idea.
I'll tip Packers, but both these teams need you to lose.
Absolutely.
If you go 8-8, they need you to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. They're they're wearing Steelers hats this weekend for sure, bro. For sure, man. But also we're the same with the Los Angeles Rams as well. So they're also wearing New York Giants hats as well this weekend. Both the Vikings, and it really is, man. Look, I'll give it to the Packers. I think this is such a 50-50 game. I'm going to give it to the Packers, who have done really good against the Vikings, I'm pretty sure, over recent times. But I'm going to give it to the Packers, but with no confidence at all. I wouldn't be confident in tipping the Vikings either, man. 1-13 between two traditional rivals. And we've got the Broncos winning 28-27. So he's going, Devils say, is going against us entirely. And he's also tipping the Packers as well, man. So that wraps up Steelers Nation Australia. Thank you. That wraps up our penultimate weekend of the NFL for 2023 preview. Dude, what's up coming up this weekend or over the next couple of weeks on your YouTube channel, mate?
What's going on, really? Of course, I'll be doing a live stream at 8 o'clock a.m. in the morning for the Steelers versus Seahawks. Covering a few things here and there, pretty much just talking about Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett, who's going to start which way. But for us now, it's just one game at a time. one game at a time, because we stuffed up in the middle part of the 3 losses. We should have taken care of Pats and Cardinals and had a chance 50-50 the Colts. Trubisky was probably one of the most awfulest quarterbacks we've ever had, but that's the same. That's a lot of heat on our head coaching too and stuff like that. I'm not saying fire Tomlin, but like there's heat there. But we're gonna go one game at a time, see what happens, and I just hope we make it to have a chance. Same as you guys. You guys have control of your own destiny. You want to beat us to go 9-7. If we lose, pretty much done, and we play the Ravens, and that's it.
I'm really sorry, mate, but you're going to be starting the year with a loss, aren't you? I'm sorry to do that to you, mate, but we're gonna finish your year with a loss. Come on, the Seahawks. We're going to win this game 14+, and we're going to
14 plus.
Oh, yeah, 14 plus. Yeah, 14+, bro. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Is it Happy New Year? Is it the game next year? It is 2 on the Monday.
Pretty much, man. Yeah,
it is,
dude.
Is that the first day? It is. Yeah, first.
Let me double check.
Oh,
mate.
it is.
Yeah,
No, it is.
It is
New Year's Day for us. Wow.
Well, one of us is starting the year off beautifully on the 1st of January, man, for sure. Thank you so much for your time again. Like, just to be perfectly honest with the audience right now, I messaged Steelers Nation Australia today at 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm so grateful that he said yes. I'm so happy that I actually reached out to you, man. We've been threatening to collaborate for 6 months now, and we finally fucking done it. So I'm really happy, and I really hope that we can collaborate as well come playoff times as well. But we'll get to that when it comes to it. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you had a really good Christmas, Steelers Nation Australia. I hope you have a really good New Year's as well, all jokes aside. And I wish your channel nothing but the best, man. Thank you very much for your time.
Man, 100%. Thank you for having me here. And then same to you as well. Like you said, you're all decked out in your Seahawks gear. And it's fun doing this stuff. Like, that's why I love my channel and Steel Nation Oz. And I know that you love your channel here, talking to your Cowboys and your Seahawks here. So it's I'm always keen for a podcast, man. Podcasts are great. Like, they're awesome. And then you look over this has kind of refreshed me to see what's happening the next 2 weeks, because there's so many games have great excuse me, implications.
Yeah. It's going to be so close, man. The AFC is close to the NFC, but genuinely, there's still 24 teams alive in this season, bro. So we're going to find out a hell of a lot this weekend. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, the audience, for giving this video or this stream a crack. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care. Adios.